Vinicius Jr., also known as Mr. I'll do it 10 times more and they're not ready. Well, we weren't ready for his divided by 10 performances of his 23-24 season, which was, by the way, a total Ballon d'Or worthy season, and he got robbed of that. So just to make my point clear on that, now let's start with the banter or the prediction. Sorry. Alright, Vinicius Jr., Brazilian forward for Real Madrid, scored 21 goals and registered 15 assists in 57 matches. Good stats. And he also scored 8 goals in the Champions League. Again, very good. But for some reason, people on the internet keep bantering him for having a bad season. This is an absolutely great season he is having. The thing is that they're comparing this season to his last season, which was obviously better than this one. But the reason why he got so many Ballon d'Or shouts last season was that there wasn't really any player who had better stats than him and the one who stepped up in big games. There wasn't really any of them. But now when there are players even in his own team with better stats and better big game showing up percentage, that's the reason people are really criticizing him. But I know he might have just dipped a little in form, but we all know what Vinicius is capable of, and hopefully he will be back to his very best. Coming back to the stats, 21 goals, 15 assists in 57 matches aren't bad at all. It's just that people are just comparing him to other players who are more into goals, like Kylian Mbappe, Rafinha, Mohamed Salah, or you could say Lewandowski, but obviously he doesn't compare to them. Even his last season performance is solely based on the stats. So, yep, it is what it is. He had 0.44 goals per 90. Again, it is very less from the caliber of a player we expect from Vinicius Jr. In the league, he scored 11 goals only and had an average assist of 0.32 assists per 90, which is also a little less because he's considered a wide playmaker, you could say. And then 0.76 GA per 90, it's decent, I guess, it's decent. Alright, his season-long XG in La Liga was 11.31, which means that he was able to match that because he scored 11 goals. He scored 1 hat-trick in the league and scored a goal every 205 minutes he played, which is a lot for attackers especially. But we'll let that slide because he wasn't on form. But I don't know why he got nominated for the Ballon d'Or. Maybe just because of his a few key performances, maybe, which we will come to later. Alright, he had 26 out of 58 shots on target, and one of them, the shots off target, was his atrocious penalty in the UEFA Champions League round of 16 against Atletico Madrid. If he had scored that one, we wouldn't have gone through the penalties and that controversial penalty of Julian Alvarez. But still, a win is a win and we'll take it as long as we keep winning. But after that, we lost, so nothing really matters. Then, oh my god, he's registered a goal every 5.27 shots he took, which is good. Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. And then he completed 664 out of his attempted 767 passes, giving him a pass accuracy of 78.75, and he created 54 chances, which is not half as bad because he is a left winger or maybe a striker. So yeah, good for his position, I said. Alright, and then he completed 77 dribbles, which is on its own a lot, but when you consider that he attempted 167 and his dribble accuracy rate is 46.11, it's good. And I think he had the second most dribbles in La Liga, only second to Lamine Yamal, and he won 164 out of 344 ground duels. These stats alone tell you that Vinicius Jr. is a class player, but if a man just solely looks at his stats and hasn't heard anything about Vinicius Jr. on the media, or hasn't even watched him play, then he would say that this man is bang average and doesn't even deserve a nomination. But the thing is, Vinicius Jr. might not be the flashiest of players when it comes to the stats. He is the best, or one of the best obviously, when it comes to being there on the big occasions, and that is what we're going to be talking about next, his key performances. First, the most beautiful performance in a Champions League match from a Brazilian. I'd say the best from a Brazilian I've ever seen in my short lifespan. So hat-trick versus Borussia Dortmund plus 5 dribbles completed. This hat-trick means so much to Madrid fans because first of all, we were 2-0 down at the Bernabeu until the first half, which on itself is a shameful occasion for Madrid to be in. But then Vinicius put on his boosters and Madrid did as well, because we then equalized 2, then we scored 2 more, then we scored 1 more. 5-2 was the final scoreline, and a big part, or should I say the biggest part played in that match was of Vinicius Jr. He completed his hat-trick by a beautiful solo goal, and you won't even believe it if you hadn't seen it from your own eyes. He carried the ball from way behind the half line in his own half. He carried the ball from there, brought it forward with extreme pace and skillness, and then faked a player and then shot it onto the roof of the net. That was a class goal by Vinicius Jr. and probably was also a goal of the season contender if there is any in the Champions League. I think there is one goal of the season award. I think Lamine Yamal won it. I don't know. Nevertheless, that was a very good performance from him, and I think it was just after when he lost out on the Ballon d'Or and people were saying, yup, Ballon d'Or, you messed up because this is the man who really deserved the Ballon d'Or and now he'll show you what he's capable of. And then came, after I think 1 or 2 games, came another hat-trick versus Osasuna, and this was also a really good one because it was a crucial match in the title race at that time. And I think after this match the gap between Barcelona and Madrid was cut off by a few points. I remember correctly because, you know, it's a small event in my life. I am a big man. Do not take that in the other way. Alright. And in this match he completed 7 dribbles and won 12 ground duels. So it was a complete performance, not just a poaching game, but still very good from Vinicius Jr. And considering that he did these 2 consecutive hat-tricks after losing out on the Ballon d'Or, it just shows that he was there in his mentality that I'm gonna be scoring tons of goals and getting better and better so that they eventually hand me the Ballon d'Or themselves. But after that, things started to go downhill. I don't know, maybe because Mbappe started to click after that, and Vinicius didn't really get the spotlight he was getting before that, so that might also be a reason. And another reason may be Carlo Ancelotti urging Vinicius Jr. to just feed Mbappe. Yep. This is a thing that I've noticed, because most of the chances that Vinicius had, he was squaring it for Mbappe, who was obviously scoring tons of goals. And that is the reason why these two have many goal contributions between them, with Vinicius giving a lot, and I mean a lot of assists to Mbappe. Another key performance would be his goal and an assist in the FIFA Intercontinental Cup final against Pachuca. This really isn't a big match, but considering it was a match to win a trophy, then it is obviously. But nevertheless, Madrid won that match and won the Intercontinental Cup title courtesy of Vinicius Jr. And then came the Copa del Rey semi-final. This was a tough match on both the legs, In the first leg, we barely managed to win 1-0 courtesy of an Endrick goal, and then in the second leg, things started to be a little shaky for Madrid because the match ended 4-4. And if Real Sociedad had scored another goal, or if Madrid had failed to score a goal, then things might have gotten a little more complicated. But Vinicius Jr. stepped up big time because he registered 2 assists in the second leg that ended 4-4 to help Madrid go through to the next round, or should I say the final, in which they were absolutely destroyed by Barcelona. Oh my god. These are the things that I don't want to remind myself of, but I have to because of you guys. So this deserves a like, I guess. And then his 2 assists versus Barcelona. We lost that match as well, so there's really nothing to talk about. Mbappe hat-trick, I think, overshadowed Vinicius' performance very much. Well, it should have, because a hat-trick is obviously more than 2 assists. And then a goal and an assist with Salzburg in the Club World Cup, the only match in which Vinicius Jr. ticked, and then afterwards we lost because of him not pressing at all. Yep, sad world we live in, Madridistas. Sad world. Nevertheless, we have considered almost all the factors. Now let's come to my final prediction. Obviously, he's not going to win the Ballon d'Or this season because his stats aren't really good enough, and solely based on a big gameplay, he didn't really step up on those big of matches like the Club World Cup semi-final. If he had scored maybe a hat-trick in that, he might have even gotten some shouts for the Ballon d'Or, but he didn't, and that's the reason why he may be a underwhelming nominee for the Ballon d'Or. People were saying that Bellingham and Vinicius just got nominated to just create the hype for the award, but really Bellingham had a good season, and I think it's fair that they nominated him. Vinicius, considering that he is the previous Ballon d'Or runner-up, I think they wanted to just make Madrid fans happy. Well, it's funny because the last season's Ballon d'Or winner didn't get nominated this season. So yeah, I guess Ballon d'Or really realized this mistake they made in 2024. And yeah, as for the prediction, I think he will finish almost in the top 20. If lower than that, I don't think that's a fair ranking, but top 20 is fair. Alright, so that was it for today's video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one, and until then, adios.